At the UPS Store, we want to make this summer the summer of shipping. Summer Ship-a-Looza. So you can start crossing items off your must-ship list, like the vintage film camera your college kid needs for class, or the vase you told your mom you would send her ages ago. And with our pack and ship guarantee, your items arrive safe or we reimburse you. So stop by your local store today for everything you need to be unstoppable. Visit the upsstore.com/guarantee for full details. Available at participating locations. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
Oh, such a clutch pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom, too. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
The GOAT!
Save up to 50% with minimum purchase at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome, my friends, to the Saturday Morning Vibe. If you would like to be part of the program this morning, 800-848-9222 is how you reach us, 800-848-9222. We will be taking telephone calls today. So much has happened this week, my friends. And just when you think you know the stories that you might be talking about, if you're the host, things happen in the overnight that completely change the direction. There was a near riot. Well, it was a riot contained in Los Angeles last night because the immigration officials, federal immigration agents, had concrete thrown at them, activists in the street. The mayor of Los Angeles is a disgrace, a total 100% disgrace, her reaction to this. We will cover all of that. There were ICE arrest in Manhattan yesterday that caused outrage. This is amazing what is taking place. And of course, the Maryland father has now been returned to the United States. The guy that Chris Van Hollen shared margaritas with has been returned to the United States of America, and Democrats all of a sudden are trying to distance themselves from him as the Department of Justice has outlined exactly who this guy is. And it is not going to be easy for Democrats to get away from this one. Not at all. And they deserve, by the way, every bit of criticism that will come their way. Then you have the Elon-Trump feud. You have the impact of the Elon and Trump feud on the massive bill that is winding its way through the Senate of the United States. All of that. I can't wait to catch up with Princess Diana later in the program. America's Small Caffeinated Mom will be attending a graduation for her son today, so she won't be here. Found that out yesterday. She probably told me. I'm just so swamped with trying to keep up with everything. And that wasn't a criticism when I said I found out yesterday. I am swamped trying to keep up with everything. It's the fire hose of news and information. Meanwhile, FBI Director Kash Patel has announced a COVID breakthrough. They got Dr. Anthony Fauci's phones and hard drives. And that's going to be interesting. In New York, Harvey Weinstein is on retrial again. Apparently there were some issues with the verdict. I mean, with the jury deliberations as they try to arrive at a verdict. Andrew Cuomo, there's a story about him in the New York Times. Once contrite, Now he's not over the allegations of sexual harassment that forced him out of office. And have to keep in mind that it was Letitia James that brought those charges. And so I'm reading through the article and I'm saying, yeah. And then some of the charges against him. He kissed a woman on the cheek in public, and she felt harassed. Like, really? So we've all of that and more. But let us, my friends, begin this journey into the news. Yes, hold on a second. I'm seeing a text from America's small caffeinated mom, Rhonda Schrock. A beautiful big barn party is gearing up. Yes, the place is going to be bumping out there in Indiana as she celebrates. And yes, she did tell me. That wasn't a criticism. I knew as soon as it left my mouth that it might sound like that. So it wasn't. And I corrected. You probably told me yes, and I was swamped with everything else that's going on. So congratulations to America's Small Caffeinated Mom, graduation of her son, last of 4 sons, this to actually finish schooling. New chapter. In Los Angeles, ICE raids sparked protests, fear, and outrage. Our community is under attack. Oh, Kelvin just walked in. Hey, Kelvin, how about those Knicks, huh? Yeah, I was thinking about you all week with that great prediction. And
there's always next year, right?
Huh? What's that now? I can't hear you, Kelvin.
I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words, and there's always next year.
Oh, this not for your coach.
That was expected, and I'm actually happy that we got rid of Tom Thibodeau, and I hope we find the guy that puts all the pieces together.
The guy took you all further than you've been in 25 years, and you're sitting here. This is just so of today's society. This is like instant gratification or else get out.
It's more of a sports conveation, but he's a great developmental coach. He's just not going to take you to the next level. We need a guy that's going to take us to the next level.
But he's not. Yeah. Oh, he's not going to. Yeah, okay. Not the players. It's the coach.
Those rotations were bad, man.
Oh, the rotations were bad. Okay.
Yeah, they were
As
bad.
you say, it's a sports conversation, and yeah. But congratulations on getting almost there. That counts for something, Calvin. Okay, Los Angeles. Los Angeles, a series of surprise U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement sweeps in downtown Los Angeles on Friday prompted fierce pushback from elected officials and protesters who decried the enforcement actions as cruel and unnecessary and said they stoked fear in the immigrant community. Can I ask you a question? Is anybody surprised? Why would anybody be surprised? What did Donald Trump run on? He ran on getting a handle, number one, on the border, and as he said, there will be massive deportations. He also said during his campaign that they were not going to spare so-called sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, that they would be going into these places where law breaking is now a way of life, and they will be reversing it. The only surprise might be that it took this long to actually start up big-time raids in Los Angeles. Los Angeles, in California, they have raised their hands, just like the people in Colorado, just like the people in Boston. They have raised their hands and said, please come and raid us because we have been violating the law for generations and we have stuck our middle finger up at American law. And we don't care. We have made legal the illegal. And that just cannot be allowed to stand. So you had this raid, and the anti-ICE forces were out in force. Again, they were attacking. There's a video of a guy that, as they took off and hauled off one of the illegal immigrants, a guy standing in front of the van that they used. As the van is moving, he's like trying to push the van back. And he's, of course, the van is proceeding slowly and picks up a little speed. And eventually, what happens? Man against van. Who wins that? The van won. The guy fell backwards. Now, I hope the guy's okay, because that could be lethal if you hit your head the wrong way, and no one wants to see that. That's terrible. But then the van backed up and went around the guy and left. And there was some of the, I think we may have this in some of the sound bites. So I'm not sure, because there was so many coming out of there. And then there was some criticism. Well, he's just leaving. What's he supposed to do? What's he supposed to do? Stand there and let this mob of anti-ICE people surround the van? And these people are threatening ICE agents. It is insane what we're seeing in Los Angeles. And then you have the mayor of Los Angeles. The mayor of the city where this riot is taking place. Cut 7, Carlos. This is what the mayor of Los Angeles says in response to the people rioting against law enforcement officials.
We are going to fight for all Angelenos, regardless of when they got here, whether they have papers or not. We are a city of immigrants, and this impacts hundreds of thousands of Angelenos.
And then she released a statement, we're not going to stand for it. Oh, yes, you will. You will not only stand for it, you will sit for it. You will lay down for it. You will roll over for it. You definitely will take it, sweetie. Regardless of your rhetoric, because the law is now coming back to Los Angeles. It's amazing. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break here. Oh, Pointer Sisters. I know what this is for, because Bonnie Pointer passed away.
This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino. A meal isn't just about what's on your plate. It's about what you bring to the table. San Pellegrino believes the table is where the best of life happens. That's what makes gathering around it so rich and rewarding. And with their unique sparkling natural mineral water, San Pellegrino brings its best so you can bring yours.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
How does PwC take your company to the leading edge? They bring the sharpest minds in tech to your team, so you can bring the ideas that will transform your business. They're passionate about your industry, so you can walk into any room with every advantage. And they're with you every step of the way, so you can know you're headed in the right direction. PwC builds for what's next, so you can get there now. Get started at pwc.com/us/leading edge.
This episode is brought to you by GM Genuine Parts and AC Delco. Get the most out of your vehicle with GM Genuine Parts and AC Delco Original Equipment, the only parts designed, engineered, tested, and backed by General Motors. You can find your perfect fit for most makes and models and choose from 3 tiers of parts, including GM OE or gold and silver aftermarket parts. Visit gmparts.com for more information.
James Golden, Snerdley, it is the Saturday morning vibe. And the anniversary with June Pointer is tomorrow. It's this weekend. Bonnie Pointer passed away. She was 69 of a cardiac arrest in 2020. She and the Pointer sisters rose to fame with this one, Jump for My Love, Slow Hand, and others. But before that, they had a great history as backup artists. They were just a phenomenon, the Pointer sisters. James Golden, Saturday Morning Vibe, 800-848-9222 is how you reach us.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Free Palestine or we cannot be friends. It's abolish ICE, abolish the police, and let immigrants get their full citizenship or we can't be friends. It's protect the dolls and protect the gays in general or we can't be friends. It's educate yourself about eugenics and protect disabled people or we can't be friends. It's Black Lives Matter or we can't be friends. Do you see how all of my choices centered other people's, lives and well-being and, safety? Do you see how I didn't include choice feminism? Do you see how I didn't include the Democrats because they're part of the problem? Do you see how I didn't completely make this video to on Democrats because I think that's the only way anything is ever going to get better? No, I center my politics, my values, my morals, who I want to be surrounded by. When you choose humanity, and not when you blame someone else. Holding accountable is different. Holding accountable is different. I'm going to say that. Do you see how you center people at the forefront of your beliefs to be, someone who cares about people, not care about the fact that your party is right or that your party is doing better? Just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, thanks for that, baby. This young generation. Today is actually the heavenly birthday of Melvin Parker, brother of Maceo Parker. The well-known Maceo, part of James Brown's band. Melvin was the drummer on this one. Out of Sight, Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. Passed away in 2021. Heavenly birthday and happy birthday, heavenly, to Melvin Parker, with the Godfather of Soul. James Brown. Okay. Let's check in. This is what it sounded like, some of the audio cut 5, as the FBI had to get called in to actually surround the building where ICE agents were, because these violent, in some cases, protesters were surrounding it, trying to attack ICE agents, trying to free apprehended individuals. This is a report from LA 5 TV as it was going on. Do you think they're still
bringing more people out? Is that what they're setting up for here?
I think they're just trying to get the rest of the agents out. This is mostly FBI at this point that are here, and they were probably collecting additional evidence from inside and just making sure that all their agents were out of the building before they disperse. So we are seeing a couple more agents that are making their way out of the building. As far as people that are being taken into custody, I believe for the most part, the people that they were targeting inside the building have been taken into custody and were taken away in those vans. And now it's just a matter of the remainder of the investigators and agents to leave the location. And that's what we're seeing here. They're starting to kind of wrap things up here. So I feel that this is going to basically wrap up here within the next several minutes. And ultimately, we'll see the crowd kind of disperse, but it's just a matter of whether they are going to.
Okay, well, let's look at what ABC 7, Cut 6, was covering at this Los Angeles event.
But still quite tense out here. Back to you. Well, Carlos, as we continue to watch this with you, I'm noticing as you saw ATF agents, we saw those vans.
Sorry if I can't hear. It's because, as you might imagine, a bit chaotic out here. We're connecting again. I think I can hear you now.
Okay, so Carlos, you mentioned ATF agents, but you also said Homeland Security. We saw ICE agents, you said, but they have mostly focused on just the one building ambiance, correct? And now as they leave, we're starting to see more tear gas and it looks like fireworks. So the crowd is continuing to engage with the officers who are very methodically starting to leave the area. And it does sound like we're having a hard time communicating with Carlos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to point out
being
to you,
dispersed to try to get these people
on the right and Carlos'
and
shot
protect
are
the
both
ICE
live.
agents.
But what we want to point out here is how these officers are now leaving. The ATF officers are very slowly moving, and you'll notice that some on the ground are trying to get the people to move out of the way. We have a piece of video that showed the vans as they were departing with some of the
we have to head to a break pretty soon. But it turned into almost a full-scale riot. Thank God, no ICE agents or other agents from other agencies were harmed, but there was an intent to harm them. And what you're getting now, the executive director of the Coalition for Humane Immigrants' Rights told one of the assembled crowd, "Our community is under attack and has been terrorized. These are workers, these are fathers, these are mothers." That's what she said. 44 people were administratively arrested. One person arrested for obstruction during the immigration action. Federal agents executed 4 search warrants related to people suspected of harboring illegal aliens at 3 locations in Los Angeles. It's just beginning, folks. James Golden, Snerdley, 800-848-9222 is how you reach us, 800-848-9222.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
You've taken land without asking. You've taken hairstyles without asking.
Oh,
you've even taken food from other countries and then
really
deconstructed it and said that you just made this up. And now you guys are taking a word, a saying, a feeling, black fatigue.
What?
From them and...
From them?
Redefining it?
Them.
Do you even know what black fatigue is? It's not for white people.
Yeah, I'm experiencing it right now, actually.
It's called black fatigue for a reason. Because
I know.
The black community are tired. They're tired of having to defend themselves. They're tired of having to fight for equality. They're tired.
Oh, that's it.
That's why it's called black fatigue, not white fatigue. What the hell is happening?
I ask myself that every day. Who is this? This sounds like...
It's Jamie Foxx sounding like Ray Charles.
I know it's Jamie Foxx sounding like Ray Charles, but I guess, thank you, TJ. Who's this?
This is Kanye West.
Why are you playing this guy who...
Because besides what he says publicly, he was a very good producer at one point. Oh, and...
a very good producer of what at one point? Of having his wife walk around naked in Europe and do things in public that shouldn't be done?
That's very true. That's very, very true. But on June, she was his birthday too. It's his birthday. I mean, we have to celebrate his birthday. And this song,
what, are you going to wear like a Nazi uniform or something to celebrate the guy's birthday? The guy has lost his mind.
Yeah, a while ago. I think it was November of 2016. But this, like back in 2005, this went in number one. Great song. Great album,
This
too.
went to number one.
Yes, it did. Really fast, too.
Number one where?
Oh, everywhere. Everywhere. Especially here, the U.S.
This was number one.
Yeah. And the album.
This is what, and you, okay, thank you. Enough. Did you wish him a happy birthday?
I tweeted about it.
Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Next break, can we get some music?
I got more Kanye than one.
No, thank you. I just asked for music next time. Okay. So you have this. By the way, there was an arrest yesterday of Mr. Huerta, who is, I guess, I'll have to dig into this guy. But there's a lot of going on that what happens to me is much bigger. It's how we as a community stand together to resist the injustice that's happening. Hard-working people, members of our family community are being treated like criminals. Excuse me. Those people that arrested broke the law. That makes you what? Criminals. So you're not being treated like criminals. They are criminals, and they are being apprehended. We all collectively have to object to this madness because this is not justice. This is absolutely justice. You know, the mindset in liberal California apparently is that they have their right to perceive the law as they want to perceive it, which is non-existent. They believe they have the right to thumb their nose at federal law, and somehow this is okay. They believe that they have the right to attack federal agents. This is all the fault of the Democrat Party. And the fault of, by the way, Republican administrations that let them get away with this nonsense. This could have been put to a stop when George Bush 43 was in office. They could have done the same thing that's being done now. Said, we are not standing for this. The Trump people tried to take action against California during their first term. But, of course, there was so much political backstabbing going on during that term, it's hard to see how anything got accomplished. And a lot got accomplished anyway. But this time around, there is no playing. This time around, this is it. Everybody has been warned that this was coming. The election was a warning that this is coming. And this guy we're talking about is the SEIU California president. David Huerta says he was injured by federal agents and wrongfully detained. I'm calling for his immediate release. He was in the way. This union guy was in the middle of this fracas and got arrested. Well, good. Good. At one point, there were reports that the business owner had locked ICE agents in. I haven't been able to verify that, so I didn't even bother playing that soundbite. And then you had coverage of what took place in a Manhattan courtroom where other illegals were arrested, and all of that rough arrest by ICE agents unfold inside Manhattan federal courthouse amid Trump crackdown. 2 people detained by plainclothes ICE agents in a hallway outside a courtroom. Pinned to the ground and arrested. Guess what? If you cooperate, you won't get pinned to the ground. If you stop resisting arrest when you are here illegally, you will not get pinned to the ground. and you could hear the Asian in this. It was a Dominican migrant. They say in the New York Daily News, a Dominican illegal immigrant, Joaquin Rosario Espinal, left the courtroom after a routine check-in. 6 agents waiting outside. 2 agents grabbed him by his shirt collar before one tumbled on the ground. Stop fighting. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Multiple agents then turned Rosario Espinal around, pinning him to the ground. He was resisting. This is what happens when you resist arrest. Rough arrest. Yeah, well, it was made rough by the fact that there's resistance to it. I'm sorry, I'm out of sympathy for that. And as for this SEIU president that's arrested, you want to obstruct, then you go to jail. No sympathy. Don't care who you are. We've played around with the left for decades. They have had their way. The party's over. Now, one of the favorite stories last evening. I got to find the soundbite here, because rather than talk about it, I'd just like to go, hey, Carlos, Pam Bondi. Where do we have Pam Bondi? Announcing the Maryland, here it is, cut number 9, and also cut number 8. Let's start with cut number 8. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi last night.
And conspiracy to commit alien smuggling in violation of Title 8 U.S.C. 1324. We want to thank President Bukele for agreeing to return Abrego Garcia to the United States. Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring. They found this was his full-time job, not a contractor. He was a smuggler of humans and children and women.
What?
He made over 100 trips, the grand jury found, smuggling people throughout our country. MS-13 members, violent gang terrorist organization members throughout our country. Thousands of illegal aliens were smuggled. This is especially disturbing because Abrego Garcia is also alleged with transporting minor children. The defendant traded the innocence of minor children for profit. There are even more disturbing facts that the grand jury uncovered. It is alleged this defendant is part of the same smuggling ring responsible for the death of more than 50 migrants in 2021 after the tractor trailer overturned in Mexico. This is part of that same ring. The defendant abused undocumented alien females, according to co-conspirators who were under his control while transporting them throughout our country. This defendant trafficked firearms and narcotics throughout our country on multiple occasions. They were using vehicles, SUVs, with added seats in the back, floors that had been ripped out, guns, narcotics, children, women, MS-13 members. That is what the grand jury found. A co-conspirator alleged that the defendant solicited nude photographs and videos of a minor. A co-conspirator also alleges the defendant played a role in the murder of a rival gang member's mother.
This is the Maryland father. This is the Maryland father the Democrats and their pro-illegal alien criminal district judges demanded demanded be brought back to the United States because it wasn't fair that he was deported. Well, he's back now. And Democrats should be proud. Their hero, the one that they have senators and congressmen that flew all the way down to El Salvador to visit Chris Van Hollen so he could drink a margarita with the guy and trade stories. Democrats should be so happy. The Maryland dad, as he was reported in the mainstream press, the Maryland dad is back home in America. Oh, yes, but Democrats, they're never happy. They're not happy. Representative Jamie Raskin was on. Now, folks, you remember, you know this, you have seen this the past few weeks. What political party has been solely, squarely behind Mr. Garcia, Abrego Garcia? One party has stood in total solidarity with the Maryland dad. What party is that? Ask yourself the question and answer it while you listen to Jamie Raskin describe what Democrat stance is now that their hero, Abrego Garcia, is back in the United States to answer this multitude of heinous charges.
Though he, of course, is alleged to have committed these crimes, do you think that Democrats risk politically playing into the president's hands by focusing on this case?
First of all, I don't know of a single Democrat who defended him specifically against any crimes, because he wasn't charged with any crimes. He doesn't have any criminal history, to my knowledge, or a criminal record, and there were no charges outstanding when he got unceremoniously picked up and flown out of the country. I mean, that's called a disappearance. That's what happens in authoritarian societies. They obviously want to make this about whether or not he ends up being a good guy or a bad guy, but it's not a moral question. It's a legal question. It's a constitutional question of whether the government can pick people up and take them out of the country. And I think the Supreme Court has been fairly emphatic about this. Due process is for everybody. Sometimes I hear my MAGA colleagues say, you're for due process for guilty people? Well, yeah, because we don't know if they're guilty or they're innocent until we've had due process. That's the whole point of due process.
Number one, I don't believe he has MAGA people that say that. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. Maybe he's telling the truth and I'm wrong. I just don't buy it. Number two, I don't know any Democrats. The entire Democrat apparatus was in support of this guy. There were no criminal charges. People were telling Democrats like him, like Chris Van Hollen, that this guy had a criminal history. So to say he had no criminal history, it's only because you haven't looked. Well, now, my friends, you have hung your political necks with this guy. And now your alleged criminal, he does have to go through court before he's found guilty, but now he's back. And now you and he may wish he had stayed in El Salvador. Because this, what he is charged with now, could see him in jail for a very, very long time. And then after that, he still has to go back to El Salvador. So you lose. Either way, you lose. Now we can, music, thankfully. You know whose birthday it is? Heavenly birthday. Sadly. Heavenly birthday. Today is the heavenly birthday of Prince. Prince Rogers Nelson, American singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, actor, 10 platinum albums, 30 top 40 singles. Passed away at the young age of 57 years old. The music will stay as long as there is music. One of the greats of all time, Prince. Born on this day in 1958. James Golden, Snerdley, Saturday Morning Vibe, 800-848-9222 is how you reach us. Keep it right here.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
On the 8th of June, that would be tomorrow, 2012, Lauryn Hill was charged with willfully failing to file income tax returns in the U.S. They said she earned more than $1.6 million during a 3-year period, but failed to file any tax returns. Prosecutors said the main source of her income during that period between 2005 and 2007 was royalties from her music and films. Yeah. Lauryn retired pretty much to take care of her family. I love Lauryn Hill. No, not just because of that. I mean, I think she is just amazing as an artist. Love Lauryn Hill. James Golden, Snerdley.
James Golden, a.k.a. Bo Snerdley, presents Rapid Phones.
Let's take phone calls. Kate in Connecticut, you are up first. How are you, Kate?
I am doing well. I'm so glad I got through to you. And
I'm glad you got through, too. What's on your mind today?
I'm just listening to this whole Garcia and Jamie Raskin. I mean, do these people really think the American people don't see through Jamie Raskin? They knew exactly what they were doing, having him come back. It just makes me sick. And now where is going to end up having to pay? I mean, I think this guy should have the death penalty personally, but I feel terrible that taxpayers have to pay for him to go to our jail to be punished, which he should be. But for what he's done, it's appalling. The whole thing is ridiculous.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Look, in a way, I'm glad he's back because this trial, I want to see his defense team call Senator Chris Van Hollen as a character witness for him. I want to see them call these Democrats that defended him. I want to see them cite these Democrats in an American court that were with solidarity with Kilmar Abreu Garcia. Kate, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate it. Let's move to Joseph in New York City very quickly. Joseph, how are you?
James, God bless you and your great James Golden team. All of those Joe Biden's pardons, pardon me, but do you have any more grateful pontificum you mustard?
Look, this issue with the pardons, I saw a Democrat congresswoman or senator, I forget what, sneering at the idea that this auto pin scandal is really a scandal or that it could lead anywhere. I'm not convinced yet that it's going to actually be taken very seriously in the court system yet. I'm not 100% convinced. But I'm going to tell you, this is a danger that is lurking for Democrats. If it can be proven that there were staff members that used that auto pen without Joe Biden's knowledge or approval for these pardons and for other pieces of legislation, this spells bad news. This is trouble. And this could be a real first-order scandal for the Democrat Party. We'll have to wait and see. Our number uno in the can. Our number duo coming up. Our very own Lizzie Radabali is coming up. Later on, Princess Di will join us. America's small caffeinated mom is doing graduation party day duty today. Your calls are coming up as well. Keep it right here. Whatever you do, don't go away. Bo Snerdley, James Golden, the Saturday Morning Vibe continues. And we want you here for all of it. Welcome, my friends, to our number duo. It's the Saturday Morning Vibe. James Golden here, Bo Snerdley with you. 800-848-9222 is how you reach us. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are so pleased to bring you the advocate for her generation. Red Apple media superstar, And she is that indeed. Anchorette Supremo. Our very own Lizzie Radabali is here. Lizzie, happy Saturday. How are you today?
Happy Saturday, Bo. Zoomers in the building. How are you doing?
Zoomers.
Zoomers in the house.
Is that what your generation is officially called now, the Zoomers?
I think so. Yeah, it's Gen Z, but everyone needs a nickname. The baby boomers are the boomers. I don't. Gen Xers don't really have. I'm just realizing they don't have a nickname. Parents,
yeah,
I guess my parents. That's their nickname. But yeah, Zoomers. Zoomers are the Gen Z.
I love this. I love that, the Zoomers.
Yeah, we're zooming around, breaking things, making an impact.
Yeah. Striking against Starbucks because they want you to wear decent clothing.
There's some millennials in there too, I'm sure. There's some millennials still working as baristas.
Yeah, well, they'll be able to up their game pretty soon because anyway. Speaking of all of that, you have to explain this one story to me. A DoorDash delivery guy.
Oh, yes.
I saw this report and I couldn't believe it. He's like driving his DoorDash car on the tarmacs of O'Hare Airport. Now, airports after 9/11 were supposed to be some of the most secure places on earth. All kind of effort went into beefing up the security at airports. And this wasn't some little yokel airport in some hideaway county in the United States that had like 60 people living in the county. This is at O'Hare.
Yeah,
one
international.
of the busiest airports in the world. And a DoorDasher managed to get on the tarmac. How did this happen?
Yeah, so this actually happened. They think it was basically a human error and a guard just kind of snoozing on the job, not really doing their P's and staying on their P's and Q's, and that they just kind of let this person slip by. So this DoorDash driver, they entered the tarmac. They entered the airport from a southeast gate, and they ended up finding him in the opposite side. So he covered a lot of ground, this delivery driver, and they baggage handlers were the ones to discover this guy because he pulled up right next to a jet right on the concourse of a Terminal 1. He was parked right next to them. Baggage handlers came up and said, what are you doing here? And it took about a full 10 minutes for a cop car to arrive on the scene. So like I said, they're chalking this up to human error. They're saying that there was no guard clearly visible at the gate when he first pulled up, this driver first pulled up. So then, the police also did end up finding the food in tow, and he verified that he was delivering to someone at the airport. But anyways, the private security guard who was supposed to be, keeping an eye on the area, she just was like, oh, that's weird. A car just drove by. I'm sure that's fine, though. I'm sure that's nothing that the security guard, should keep an eye on. And she just let it go. And she didn't tell any of her supervisors. She told police after that she thought it was weird. But that was it. She just thought it was weird.
Oh, a car came through. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, and yeah, where's the gut instinct? Where is the actual follow through? If you're
was she a Zoomer, Lizzie?
I don't know. She's fired, is what she is now. She was fired by the TSA and the Lincoln Security, who works with the TSA. But yes, you really got to ask yourself. You wonder, how do you, as an airport security guard, just watch a car drive past you, think, Weird. And then
That's
don't
weird.
Don't alert anyone. Don't alert anybody. I mean, we're already having so many issues at airports. We've already covered this. I mean, the issues at Newark with the blackouts and the constant delays.
That's getting fixed, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. But no one's really. Anybody looking to book a flight is not looking to book it out of Newark. That's for certain, or to fly
It's
into.
being fixed. They're doing extraordinary things. Actually, they finished another runway over at Newark Airport. They worked 24/7 to get this runway online. They're bringing on new air traffic controllers, and Verizon laid a new fiber line that's being tested right now to make sure that these communication blackouts don't happen. All this is happening in quote unquote record time.
Yeah, well, also the FAA did announce that the cutbacks on some of the flights out of Newark is staying through. They temporarily cut back on the flights. That's going to stay in place until the end of the year. So I mean, it's not we're not at the finish line any closer than we were before. So, I mean, this time will only tell what's going on with all our issues with FAA and the airport security. But
our air traffic grid has to be completely redone.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
1000%.
antiquated, and they're working on it now.
Yeah.
Let me move to this story that you sent, which I find amazing. You see these pictures of these really teeny violins. And I thought that's what this was when you sent me this story. And, another one of these teeny violin stories. But this is something else. Lizzie, this is kind of remarkable, actually.
Yeah, this is a discovery that they say could actually help us figure out bigger questions around energy and construction of matter. We could, build more things. So this was a microscopic violin was created over in Loughborough University in England. Researchers worked using a nanolithography system that allows researchers to kind of build these tiny, tiny structures. And it doesn't actually build, a playable violin. There's no microscopic actual physical violin. It's rather a etching, a graphic of a violin. Its chip was engraved with this image of a violin, and it's not officially confirmed as the world's smallest violin according to the university. I guess Guinness has to go out there, but it essentially works similar to like etching in a vinyl record. They use a needle that carves out this image, and they dissipate any of this gel that they use.
But how small is it, Lizzie? How small
is it? Well, it's 35 microns long and 13 microns wide. So that means a human hair is usually about 17 to 180 microns in diameter. So it's smaller than a human hair.
This is amazing.
It is. No, it absolutely is. And like I said, they're going to use this. They say, obviously, who's using the world's smallest violin, who's going to, use an etching like that. But they say that it actually will help them with their research to keep building on this, to, find new ways to make computers more efficient, to harvest energy, which, as we continue with questions around energy policy, I mean, new sources of energy are always a good thing. Science always wants to keep an eye on that.
And speaking of computing, the world of computing, I love this story.
Oh, yeah.
There's a new AI company, right? And it was developed. It can build apps. This AI can build apps, and it's blah blah blah. And so it's all computing. And it turns out it was what, Lizzie?
Oh, it was all a sham. It was actually a group of 700 Indian engineers doing all the computing, not an actual computer. So this was Builder AI. And I do want to bring up, it is an 8-year-old company. The company has actually been around for 8 years. I mean, AI in general, the conversations around it are kind of new. They're kind of fresh. So we think of AI companies as these, emerging, industries. The actual company itself, Builder AI, has been around for a minute. So it actually ended up getting invested by Microsoft. Microsoft gave it a $455 million investment, nearly $500 million to this just scam. I mean, so like I said, It's a room of Indian engineers who were doing all the computing that was
Microsoft got scammed.
Yeah, that was said to be done by a computer. And you think
Microsoft got scammed.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. So they also worked with another company, this Indian-based social media startup, who is also kind of doing some shady business. They were both billing each other for, fake sales numbers that ended up, getting exposed in Bloomberg. So now Builder AI is out. They posted on LinkedIn saying, we're entering into insolvency proceedings, and we're appointing an administrator. There's also, I want to bring up another AI company called Builder IO that had to go out and clarify that, hey, man, we're not that company. We're a completely different company. We have an AI company as well, but it's real. We'll see. Allegedly, they say it's real, but, we'll see.
Last thing you have on the agenda, I was stunned that there was actually a ban on doing yoga in, of all places, San Diego Park. What gives?
Yeah, so this case is really interesting. I mean, the 9th U.S. District Court of Appeals officially overruled a city ordinance that banned people from teaching public yoga classes. So it was required to get a permit for any type of commercial activity, selling items, street vendors, or also hosting a yoga class for 4 or more people. And that was eventually challenged by 2 yoga instructors who said, "Hey, man, that's a violation. This is a violation of our rights." And they said, the Ninth Circuit agreed, saying teaching yoga is protected speech. So, there you go. You can go out and do yoga. I also want to mention that one of the people who sued on behalf of against the city said, one of the yoga teachers said that he was cited multiple times for live streaming classes from his house because the city said that you could tell that people in the park were using his classes that were on YouTube. I mean, I think this guy has some trouble with this city that needs to be sorted out separately.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that the right thing happened here.
Yoga for all.
Overreach.
Give me yoga or give me death.
Yeah, and your tight Lululemon, whatever. Is that the right way you say the Lululemon see-through pants?
Life, liberty, and Lululemon.
That cost about $1 gazillion so that people can see right through them and see your... Yeah, there's that. Lizzie, you were supposed to find out what happened to that Starbucks strike for me.
Oh yeah, the union basically said that that they're still committed to the mission of the workers and protecting the workers, and they said that the uniform thing is just kind of a distraction from their overall message.
So they caved in. I love it. There's just no stick. Look, there's just no stick to this with this Zoomers, Lizzie.
I don't know. They didn't cave. I don't think they caved. They just said, "Hey, this is a distraction."
They caved.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see who wins in the end. If the union workers end up winning, we'll see.
Lizzie, where can people find your show, Lizzie?
Oh, it airs on New York's WABC within the Red Apple Network. Or you could also find it on the WABC app or wherever you listen to podcasts. It's the WABC NewsHour Weekend Edition.
Thank you. Our very own Lizzie Radabali. Lizzie, so great to hear from you. Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you so much, Bo. Great talking to you.
This is Roberta's version. But we're talking about the Fugees.
But we played Lauryn Hill before, so...
All right. Thank you, Carlos. Well, I guess that this is the day that the Fugees scored their first number one single with their version of this song, Roberta Flack's Killing Me Softly. Do we have the Fugees version somewhere? We'll play it coming out. How about that? Yeah. But I love hearing Roberta, and you know that, so thank you, Carlos. We get two of Roberta's Killing Me Softly. James Golden, Snerdley. Saturday Morning Vibe continues. Don't go away.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Anyone can follow. It takes something special to be an original, which is why the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV arrives with new ways of surrounding you in luxury, including the ultra-wide 48-inch panoramic display and the multi-sensory Lincoln Rejuvenate experience. A true original never stops evolving. So meet the 2025 Navigator, the original that's all new and better than ever. Learn more at Lincoln.com. Lincoln and Navigator are trademarks of Ford or its affiliates.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Learning through play starts with Lego Duplo. With Lego Duplo, toddlers can develop real-life skills while having fun with colorful bricks made just for them. Large, easy to grip, and safe to explore. When children express themselves with Lego Duplo, they build patience, problem-solving, and empathy. See your child learn perseverance and self-expression with everything they imagine and create. Visit lego.com/preschool to learn more.
Choice Hotels get you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. Like with the road trippers we see here in their natural habitat, the breakfast area at a Comfort Inn. Here's a dad teaching his son how to make waffles, fluffy golden waffles. There's a mom making sure her daughter eats some fruit to avoid the "I'm hungry" from the back seat. And a sibling standoff over the last muffin. This is the cycle of vacation maximizationing in all its glory. Check into more. Book direct to choicehotels.com.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
If you like chewing gum, well, you may be surprised to learn that you are also chewing microplastics. Chewing gum is made using a plastic polymer. Researchers at the University of California in Los Angeles conducted a study of a dozen popular chewing gums. They found one stick of chewing gum released about 100 microplastics on average. Health experts say microplastics can threaten people's health in part because they potentially carry harmful bacteria.
You like chewing gum, do you? Yes, as promised, and he delivered the Fugees version of Roberta Flack's Killing Me Softly. Fugees, of course, go to number 1, 1996 on June 8th. That is tomorrow. So this is the weekend, big weekend for the Fugees, and of course for Lauryn Hill. James Golden, Snerdley with you. Saturday Morning Vibe, 800-848-9222. Coming up a little bit later, Princess Diana will join us. I'm still, folks, I got to tell you, I am just happy about what is. I'm not happy about the riot. I'm not happy about any of that in Los Angeles, but I am happy that finally, after all of these years of watching California politicians stick their middle finger up to America and stick their middle finger up to federal law, that finally someone is standing up and saying, no, you're not going to get away with this anymore. And I wonder what's going on with these Democrat Party mayors. You have Karen Bass be clowning herself, not supporting law enforcement, basically saying, oh, we're going to protect illegal immigrants. We're going to protect illegality as a way of life in California. And I think that she should be held to account. Of course, it's California. She may be reelected without a problem out there if she can keep running again. But I don't know how much I hope that Republicans are at least cataloging all of this. What is happening there? What is happening with Boston mayor? Cut 29. If you've forgotten, one of the things happened this week, we only have a few seconds, but this should fit. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131 routinely wears masks.
Mayor, just to clarify, are you comparing ICE, you said, to NSC 131, the neo-Nazi group? Are you comparing them to a neo-Nazi group?
What I said is that Boston Police and no police department that I know of at the local level routinely wears masks.
Yeah, she's calling ICE neo-Nazis. Democrat Party mayors on parade. James Golden, Snerdley. A little bit later, Princess Diana's going to be here. Can't wait. You need to keep it right here. Your phone calls are coming up, too. So whatever you do, don't go away. The Saturday Morning Vibe continues.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, it's time for Protecting Your Future. Sponsored by Colonial Metals Group. Here's James Golden, a.k.a. Bo Snerdley.
Welcome, my friends. Protecting Your Future today. I got a few things to run by you. One is the Genius Act. I wonder if you've even heard of it. The Genius Act. TJ, this is kind of up your bailiwick. Would you know what the Genius Act is? Oh, no, sir. Okay, well, let me tell you what the Genius Act is. The Genius Act is working its way through the United States Senate. It is a cryptocurrency bill that would require banks to prioritize stablecoin investors over regular depositors whatever you have deposited in the bank. Stablecoin investors would get a preference over regular depositors during financial collapses. So they'd have to pay the stablecoin people out before they paid you out if you had regular investments, is the way I read this. Now, Senator Josh Hawley has come out against it. He told the New York Times that if it goes through, it would allow tech companies to issue stable coins without any kind of controls, and he doesn't see why anybody would do that. There's a Georgetown law professor, Adam Levitin, who warns that the setup of this bill creates a direct pipeline from FDIC-insured deposits to uninsured crypto investments. Congress is about to put the claims of stablecoin investors ahead of Ma and Pa's bank deposits. In other words, he says the Genius Act is stabilizing stablecoin insurance on the back of your bank deposits. There are other people that are worried about this too. They're worried that companies like Meta, potentially Elon Musk's X platform gaining power, will create their own money, stablecoins with minimum oversight. And of course, what this bill would do is give them preference, and they have to be paid out first before your bank accounts through banks. Rand Paul, Senator John Kennedy are skeptical of it. Democrats are split. Elizabeth Warren opposes the measure. Kirsten Gillibrand co-sponsored this bill. So this is one, folks, that you should keep an eye on, especially if you are worried potentially about your money in an economic collapse. That's when Democrats take over. You really got to worry about that stuff. But this is one you may want to do some investigation on either side. And I'm not saying yes, no. I'm giving you the information. There's another story you should be aware of. How to avoid a revenge tax. That's working its way through Congress. There's a lot of stuff going on in Washington. As Princess Di has said many times, the fire hose. I wasn't even aware the Genius Act was working its way through the Senate until this. You can find that story today, by the way, in the Daily BS. Editorial board of the Wall Street Journal, how to avoid a revenge tax. This could be a good thing. But if you are a foreign national doing business here in the United States, you may want to investigate and protect your future, because there's a section in the House Big Beautiful Bill, Section 899, that would create a retaliatory surtax with a minimum rate of 20% on nationals of countries that impose unfair foreign taxes on U.S. business. So what we're saying, and what this Congress is saying, is that there are, and we know what countries they're talking about, by the way, some of them, that tax U.S. businesses out the wazoo. Well, apparently Congress has had enough, and they are finally addressing this by saying if you are a foreign national here and you're from one of these countries that taxes us like crazy, guess what? Your turn is coming. Yes. So they're going to issue a tax that would be, 20%, a maximum rate of 20% on nationals and individuals or companies that impose unfair foreign taxes on U.S. business. They're calling it a revenge tax. I don't see it as revenge. I see it as about damn time tax. Next up, protect your future, buying appliances. This is another finally. The Trump administration is finally putting California on notice. No more war on appliances. The Department of Justice threatening to take legal action against California regulators if they implement strict energy efficiency policies that would effectively phase out particular gas appliances. And you know, California has been on the move to do that as part of their green new crapola deal. And what they want to do is make it so difficult for gas-powered things, like gas-powered, for instance, your gas-powered blowers, stuff like that. They want to eliminate all of that with this crazy notion of killing off fossil fuels. So if you have been suffering under this, protect your future. You may want to, rather than just not buy things that you want right now, just hold off. Help is on the way. Finally, this note in protecting your future. Pay attention if you have a student athlete. Here's another, to me, finally. About time. Why couldn't this have happened earlier? If you are in the family where there is a student athlete, a federal judge, and usually when we hear those three words, these days there's a sense of dread, but maybe not this time. A federal judge has signed off on arguably the biggest change in the history of college sports. That happened yesterday, clearing the way for schools to begin paying their athletes millions of dollars as soon as next month. As the multi-billion-dollar industry shreds the last vestiges of the amateur model that defined it for more than a century. You all know this. College athletes couldn't get paid. There are all this other stuff going on. Well, that's done. Nearly 5 years after Arizona State swimmer Grant House sued the NCAA and the five biggest conferences to lift restrictions on revenue sharing, U.S. Judge Claudia Wilkin approved the final proposal that had been hung up on roster limits, just one of many changes ahead of concerns that thousands of walk-on athletes will lose their chance to play college sports. The sweeping terms of the so-called House settlement includes an approval for each school to share up to $20 million with athletes over the next year and $2.7 billion that'll be paid over the next decade. So, you have a college athlete, you have an aspiring college athlete. Time to start doing some serious financial planning if that student athlete has promise. And make sure that you understand the ramifications of the schools that your child goes to, whether they'll be participating in these conferences that used to keep all the money to themselves and not give the student athletes a dime of the money. All that's changing. Student athletes that make billions of dollars for these schools are going to now have to share the revenue with the athletes that actually make it happen. So if you're the parent, if you're the family of a student athlete, be aware of these changes going on. You may want to talk to a financial planner or somebody that knows about this. You may want to talk to an agent. This is going to have immense ramifications. Now, I'm not the biggest sports guy in the world, but I think this is huge. Let me check in with the crew. Kelvin, Mr. Nix. Kelvin, you think student athletes should be paid? You think that this is a good thing?
Yeah. The NIL dues, that's what you're talking about?
No, this is the whole thing. If you were paying attention to the story,
I had a really rude caller.
You were screening calls. I know. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know. But anyway, no. Finally, the NCAA, all these division schools are going to have to start paying student athletes, is the long version. There's a settlement reached. It's going to be a multi-billion-dollar settlement as it runs out over the next few years, that student athletes will be part of in the revenue stream. There's going to be revenue sharing. All this money that's coming in from student athletes got to make some money out of this deal. You think that's a good thing?
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah. TJ, you're a sports guy. Is this going to be huge?
I think so. They were already getting paid with the name, image,
they were already
likeness deals.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. So that's right. These college kids could get paid endorsement deals already.
Yeah, but that's typically for like the top athletes.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? But now everybody's going to get it.
Everybody gets a turn. Everybody can get some money. Yeah, it's a good thing. What's that going to do for recruitment, though? Are we going to get a bunch of play like crazy? Well, we already have that.
Basketball in particular, you're going to have a lot less students who are going for 1 year and then immediately going to the NBA.
So they'll be able to keep college kids instead of they do a year in college and then jump right to the NBA. They'll stick around in college because they can get paid now.
The game is going to be better because better athletes are going to stay in longer.
Okay, so college games will be better. I don't watch college basketball. I don't watch college sports, but it's a good thing for those people that do. Anyway, protect your future. Know about all of it. James Golden Snerdley. When we get back, we're going to take some telephone calls, and then we will eagerly be awaiting the appearance of Princess Diana. So let's do this. Let's take care of a little housekeeping right now. What you got here, Carlos?
This is Milli Vanilli. I'm not sure if you see its birthday, but it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, it's two people.
Yeah. Is it really Milli? Is it really? That's the question. Oh boy, they're never gonna live it down. Is it really?
I thought it was one person, like Vanilla Ice. No,
that was a whole scandal. Rob Pilatus is the singer from the duo Milli Vanilli. They confessed later after they had this big hit that they didn't actually do the vocals. They were just lip syncing someone else's vocals. They were stripped of their Grammy Award for Best New Artist. He passed away, drug and alcohol overdose in 1998. But it's heavenly birthday for Rob Pilatus, from the German R&B group Milli Vanilli. And that's tomorrow. James Golden, Snerdley. Your call's coming up at 800-848-9222. A little bit later, Princess Di joins us. Keep it right here. The Saturday Morning Vibe continues.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
To all you MAGA that are already out acting a fool in public, thinking you can get away with whatever the you want, I want you to know that it ain't gonna happen.
Really?
We are pissed.
You are.
We have zero to give anymore. And bail money. I have bail money.
Oh.
I see you out in public acting a fool, raging out and berating other people, getting in people's faces, being racist, being Karen. I'm gonna say something to you. And if you want to throw hands, bring that on, because I would love to right now. I would love to. I'm being real with you when I tell you you need to act right. This will not be tolerated any further. Don't let me see you harassing somebody.
Yeah, I tell you what. I'm really screwed. A little girl on video said she's going to throw hands. Carlos.
Yeah, what's up?
What's the name of this song?
I wanna sex you up.
No, thank you. I don't want that. First you bring Kanye, the Nazi lover.
He used to be a Nazi lover.
What do you mean he used to be?
He posted on Twitter that he's done with that stuff.
He posted on Twitter he's done with the Nazi stuff.
Yeah. I don't think he's coming back to music, but it's good that he's done with that stuff.
And now you're bringing us... I want to... You know, when this song came out, a lot of disc jockeys were not permitted to actually say the title, so they said, I want to love you as the title. That wasn't the title. Some radio stations edited out the word sex.
I'm about to say, they changed the song.
Yeah, they changed the song. And now you're listening to it, it's like, oh yeah, this is just, you know.
They say a lot more these days.
Yeah, because now they actually tell you explicitly how they want to sex you up. A one-hit wonder, Color Me Bad, 1991, this was a big deal. Now it's passé. It's like, oh yeah, somebody wants to sex someone up. You get that in elementary school books now. And not necessarily for the same sex either. But, I mean, that too. Anyway, thank you, Carlos. Can't wait to see what you come up with next. Let's get back to the telephones. Let's check in with Thomas in Putnam County, New York. Thomas, how are you?
How you doing, Bo? I'm good. I was just calling, basically, I'm going to keep it rapid for you. I was calling about illegal immigration, essentially, and I think that it is a slap in the face to all the people that came in legally for them to be able to stay, but I also think that we have a lot of jobs that are open, and I think we should keep some of them and maybe just make them pay a fine and then keep the border locked down.
Interesting. How about this? How about we send all of them back home and actually reform the immigration process to people that have been trying to get in here legally for years and expedite their entry so that if there are jobs in the labor market that are not being filled, the people that have tried to do it legally get first dibs. How about that as an alternative?
I do agree with that, too. I was just more so saying that it would also give us revenue to do that so we can keep them to fill the jobs. because, Trump's policies is also going to give us more jobs. So with all these job openings, how are we going to fill them all?
Well, that's why I said let's get immigration fixed so the people that have been trying to get here for years that have skills can come in here and do it. I would love to see that happen, Thomas. I don't think we should reward people that broke the law. I think we should reward people that have been willing to follow the law, is my point. But I hear your point. And if there are jobs to be filled quickly, we need to do the right thing and reward those people who've been waiting to get here the legal way. So I appreciate your call very much. Let's go to Sandra in New Jersey. Sandra, how are you this morning?
Oh, very well. Thank you, James. Thank you for taking my call. James, I wanted to add about Garcia. One, he had a full-time job, yes, not as a contractor, but as a man that drove 100 trips, they say, over 100 trips of young kids and women. And also, I don't know if you know this, but he was involved in that accident in 2021.
I know, Sandra, we played the clip of Pam Bondi announcing this during the first hour of the show. Yeah, we talked about that. Absolutely. We played the full clip of Pam Bondi thanking El Salvador for returning him and talking about the charges, in fact, that he was involved with that Mexican accident that killed all of those people. And not only that, has trafficked young girls in and is accused of abusing some of them. This guy has a record, apparently, an alleged record, it has to be proven, that is just dastardly. Sandra? I guess she's gone.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello?
Well, I wanted to give you the last word on that, Sandra.
Okay, I wanted to also say Donald Trump said that America's hot. We were doing really well with the economy. Borders closed. Prices are going down. Wages are going up. We're doing really well. And I just think that I'm very optimistic about our future. And as you said, with the jobs, 139,000 jobs are now available to people. So it just all looks really good, James. It does. I
agree. I think the future is looking bright. I think some of the things that have happened in this country, that this economy is going, are heading very much in the right direction. And despite all this talk that you get from the Congressional Budget Office, what this big new bill is, look, I'm not happy with everything in the bill. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm not happy with many of the provisions, actually. Some of the provisions, I should say. But overall, this bill is not going to be what it is being defined as by the left, which is going to increase the deficit. No, it won't. In fact, the CBO has already said the tariffs are going to pretty much cover what any deficit would have incurred. I mean, we've got a lot there. So, yes, things are looking really good, I think, and poised to look even better. James Golden, Snerdley, hour number duo in the can, hour number trio. Coming up. So whatever you do, keep it right here. Do not go away.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, here we are, my friends. Already hour number trio. Man, this goes by fast. Our number trio, of course. You have been waiting with bated breath. So have I, actually, to catch up with the Ness. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time for Radio Royalty with James Golden and America's Princess of Policy, Princess Di.
The goodness, the intelligence-ness, the analysis-ness of everything that is important, and even some things that are super important. Our very own Princess Diana is in the house. Good morning, Your Highness.
Good morning, Sir James Ness. It's always great to speak with you.
Yes, indeed, my lady. We have, I thought that 2 days ago, I said, okay, Saturday, we're going to be talking about this whole Elon Musk thing, and it's going to be the lead story still everywhere. This thing was spiraling like no story. It was just blow by blow by blow, minute by minute. And then yesterday, it's. But what about it? Where do things we have? We have two cuts. One, we're not going to listen to the whole thing. Actually, we have more than one. But cut one, Donald Trump. And he said this, I think it was day before yesterday. Yesterday, I get it mixed up now. But
honestly, I've been so busy working on China, working on Russia, working on Iran, working on so many that I'm not thinking about Elon. I just wish him well.
I'm not thinking about Elon. I just wish him well. And then, well, we'll get to a little bit of it. Cut to Dana Bash, CNN.
Joining us now, someone who just got off the phone with the president. CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash joins us now by phone. Dana, what did he tell you?
Good morning, John. Well, he said that he's, quote, well, here's exactly what he said, quote, I'm not even thinking about Elon. He's got a problem. The poor guy's got a problem. He said he won't be speaking to him for a while, but he said he wishes Elon Musk well. It was a short conversation. He was. Yeah,
that's all. We don't need any more. Short conversation. That soundbite short, too. And then somebody had the nerve to ask AOC about it. And this was AOC had weighed in as well.
Any quick reaction on what's going on with Elon Musk and President Trump on Twitter right now?
Oh, man, the girls are fighting, aren't they? I would say that this was something that was a long time coming, where we've been seeing that these two huge egos were not long for being together in this world as friends. And so I think this breakup we've been seeing a long time coming, but we'll see what the impacts are of it legislatively.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Princess Diana, now your analysis of what happened.
Well, just to pick up on what AOC said, I think the long-term impact is that the big, beautiful bill has a glide path to passing now, because I think that Elon's reaction and attempt to sabotage it was so toxic that it ensured that this thing is going to go forward, I think, much easier than it would have, which I think is the opposite of what Elon was hoping for. And there are, many ways to look at what happened. As you said, it was fast and furious all day Thursday. Everybody was glued to this, implosion. And it really, I think, has burned itself out as far as import. And I think that the long-term impact is going to be simply positive for MAGA. And Elon, I think, hurt himself much more than he got anything positive that he had wanted, which was to affect the outcome of the big, beautiful bill. And I think there's, two ways to look at it. You can look at what happened as a psychoanalysis of Elon's particular personality, or you can look at it as a bit of a conspiracy theory. And I think either way, it is, was designed to hurt Trump from Elon's point of view and from the people who were agreeing with him, and it ended up doing just the opposite. And I think that one of the things that has happened is, unfortunately, there has been so much misinformation of what is in this big, beautiful bill on our side. And I think that was the operation that going a little conspiracy theory on it. The fact that the Democrats are saying this, helps the rich and hurts the poor and all that, that has no impact, as they always say it. It is old, tattered and worn talking points, which no one pays attention to anymore. But the criticisms came that were effective, I think, in giving people pause, and probably many in your audience. And things that you mentioned, that there are things in there you don't even like. I think that has been the, unfortunate message from conservatives, that this is a problem bill. And it isn't. It has been mischaracterized. It is something that's called a reconciliation. There is no new spending in it at all. This is all approved spending that was approved previously, and it's reallocation. It's moving money around. It's putting Trump's agenda front and center. And this idea of a reconciliation bill causing such angst among the right, where it really hasn't before. These reconciliation bills have been in effect since 1974. This is the first time I've ever seen people get hysterical about them and throw out all kinds of incorrect information of what it actually is. There is, it's that everything that Elon said, calling it a disgusting abomination and it was going to cause the country to go off the cliff, et cetera, et cetera. All of Trump's agenda is codified in here. This is the thing that we have wanted, the executive orders to be codified. You've got the tax cuts made permanent. You've got money for deportations. You've got money for the endowment tax on the Ivy Leagues. You've got energy deregulation. You defund the trans surgeries. You have the full tax agenda, the full border agenda, the full energy agenda. It cancels the Green New Deal, and it's done in such a way that it does not require any negotiation with the Democrats because it requires only a simple majority. Instead of what would have to happen, where you would have to have some kind of amnesty agreement with the Democrats, if this was going to be done in the regular system where you need 60 votes. So the idea that the right has been the one torpedoing this, or the influencers, as are called, are pointing out supposed problems in this, when in fact this advances MAGA tremendously in every way. And I am sorry that this has upset so many on our side because it's been unnecessary.
Well, as you know, I had the chairman of the RNC on, and he just said yesterday, one of the things he said, look, this is going to come down to, when I asked him about some of the personalities that are going to be involved in the Senate, he said, look, this is going to come down to, do you want to tax Americans further, or do you want the biggest tax cut made permanent in America? And by the way, I'm not opposed to the bill. I said there are a few things I don't like in it, and I can say that about any bill.
What don't you like specifically?
The one thing that I am questioning that I don't like is this AI sanction that basically, it's a small thing that actually says that they can bypass any sort of local zoning ordinance or whatever for data centers. I think it's a giveaway to big tech. I think that potentially could cause problems. Do I think it's enough that it should kill the bill? No, I don't think it's enough that it should kill the bill, but I just don't like that one. I think that when you look at the cost of what these data centers can chew up in terms of electric needs and all that, if the cost is going to be passed on to localities, they should have a word in it. That's all. That's one of the things that I object to it.
My understanding is that the AI part of it is to make it local decisions and state decisions rather than a federal one. So I think there's been
okay, and so maybe hold on, maybe what I'm getting in that could be misinformation because of the source of it. And I did question that myself. The source of that comes from Thomas Massie, who is definitely not in Trump's corner. In fact, I know, you know too. In fact, Carlos, cut 22. Just the one that alerted me, I said, I don't like the way this sounds. I'll play it for you. Here's what it sounded like.
I am prefacing what I'm about to tell you because I'm almost embarrassed to tell you this. I went back and read that provision of the bill knowing that you might ask about it on the show. And I found something I didn't find the first time, which is they say in that bill, not only are they going to override state laws, they want to override state or local zoning laws. Now, what does this mean? When you think of AI, okay, well, we're not going to regulate the software that runs on somebody's computer. No, what they're talking about are these data centers that could be located in your neighborhood. And there's been a lot of contention over these data centers. I think that's what the real intent of this part of the bill is. Facebook and some of these other big tech companies have met the not in my backyard, the NIMBY resistance in areas, and AI wants to make sure that they don't run into that. These data facilities can use a lot of water, use a lot of energy, And they don't want the locals telling them where they can and can't put these data centers. They're going to want the data centers closest to where the consumers are. And so you're going to have that tension. And I think, I went back and read the bill before it came
that's what I was responding to when I said, now, I will preface that by saying if this is true, it's something that I don't particularly like. But do I think it's enough to stop the bill? Hell no. I want this bill to go through. And I want to be real clear about that.
Well, that's good. Interestingly enough, there was just a statistic released by the White House that the murder rate has dropped by 20% so far this year. And the Washington Post on the 31st of May, if you recall this hilarious headline, the mysterious drop in fentanyl seizures on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Yes.
The Washington Post is mystified at it. Those are two results of what has already been started on the deportations, is the reduction in crime, the reduction in drug coming into the American society, and also financially the impact of deportations on the entire budget is never talked about. And so you can't just basically say, as a lot, well, yeah, sure, it helps with the it basically funds for 1 million deportations a year. And that is not even enough, in my opinion, but that's what this money is going for. It also is going to have a ripple effect on the entire budget. James, did you know 25% of students in America are theoretically illegal?
Yes.
So
yes.
You
and
start
Democrats.
this process.
Let me just say, I knew it was a high number. Of foreign students. I didn't know that total represented the portion of illegal students.
Exactly.
I did not know that.
So you have the ripple effect of just the primary accomplishment of this is that the entire deportation, illegal immigration agenda is put into effect in this bill. And the ripple effect of that on the entire economy, on the entire American taxpayer is going to be tremendous, which is why the White House has been fighting for this. And it's also why the left and the right, very far right, they know that the success of this bill is going to help Trump in his power going forward for the rest of his term. And these are, many of them, never Trumpers. You've got Massey, you've got Rand Paul, you've got the Freedom Caucus, you've got Chip Roy. This was my conspiracy theory. A lot of these people spun up, in my opinion, Musk to sabotage this bill because they know how wonderful this is going to be for the American people.
Your gut affects everything, even your mood. So Ollie created 2 brand new products to take care of your insides. Ollie Big 10 Probiotic has 10 strains of probiotics, their most ever, to support a healthy gut microbiome, immune system, and stress response. And Ollie Super Good Superfoods delivers 15 superfoods in tasty gummy form. Find them at ollie.com and exclusively at Walmart.
Ollie!
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Okay. I played Chip Roy the other day, and Chip Roy is basically saying, look, you have to keep these cuts. That was his bone of contention. You have to keep these cuts in for the Green New Deal stuff. If the Senate takes them out, that's a no-go.
Yeah,
so
he's threatening not to support it, which he always does. He is a grandstander.
Princess Di on a roll this morning. Princess, stay there. Tomorrow's the anniversary of the birthday of Bonnie Tyler. 1983, this went number 1. Total Eclipse of the Heart. Princess Di is with us. Whatever you do, don't go away. Saturday Morning Vibe continues. Keep it right here.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And birthday tomorrow, Nancy Sinatra. Daughter, of course, of Old Blue Eyes Frank Sinatra. They had their duet together that went number one in 1967, Something Stupid. This was her solo release in 66. Yeah, well, they're walking out in L.A. right now. And the Maryland dad is back home. Happy Father's Day to the Maryland dad. He's back home. I wonder if he will be celebrated in a Mother's Day toast from Chris Van Hollen and some of the other Democrats who have made him a hero. What do you think, Princess Di?
Well, I think the Democrats, should heed the motto, live by the gangbanger, die by the gangbanger. They went all in on this guy, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and now the information in the Department of Justice motion for the pretrial detention of him lays out some of the most egregious crimes this guy is responsible for. And the interesting thing, I think, is getting very little attention in that the term always is wrongly deported. And the reason they use that term is because a judge gave him a withholding of removal because he was afraid to go back to El Salvador. And in this motion from the Department of Justice, the reason he was afraid is he allegedly killed the mother of an 18th Street gang member. And so that was a rival gang. He was MS-13. And so that is the reason that our country decided that he should be withheld from being removed and sent back because he was a murderer. And that information has never been anywhere. You just keep hearing wrongly deported. Well, he was, rightly deported, first of all, because there was an order of removal. And second of all, the reason is that the guy's a murderer. So this is all going to come out and boomerang on the Democrats. And I think, interestingly enough, there are a lot of things boomeranging on the Democrats on this. And I was interested in what you were detailing, the L.A. riot and the mayor's decision to stand up and saying, we won't stand for this, which is a boomeranging of something that happened in California. If you remember, in 1994, California Prop 187. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes.
Okay, this was a proposition that the people of California voted for 60% to 40%. And a judge stopped it because the federal court ruled it was unconstitutional because it violated the federal government's exclusive power to regulate immigration. And so
I need you to hold that point because we're going to talk about this. I want this in depth. I don't want to rush this. This is important. Princess Di is here, folks. Keep it right here. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Labor, of course, we have to come to a place in Congress where it is no longer a political issue, but we see it as an existential issue for the country. If we don't have avenues for people to come here legally to work or to build a home here, I'm going to be really crude right now. We're not going to have anybody around to wipe our asses because we don't have enough people.
That was Representative Becky Ballant from Vermont. We need illegal immigration because if we don't have illegal immigration, we're not going to have anybody in the United States to wipe our asses. Elton John's ninth studio album, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboys. went number one on this day in 1975. I binged on this song. This is still one of my favorites. From Elton John, Sir Elton John. Written, of course, by Elton and Bernie Taupin. Stayed number one, the album did, for the better part of 2 months. Princess Di is with us now. Princess Di, before the break, how do you like that representative? We need illegal immigrants here so that they can wipe our... Anyway.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I think
That's
that has got to be in every Republican advertisement. That and the Democrats in league with Gilmar Abrego Garcia. Those two things need to be highlighted by every Republican for the midterms.
I totally agree. I think we should put together our own montage and send it to them if they won't do it, of things.
Amen.
Okay? Now, you were talking about 187, and I need to stop you because we need a refresher course. This was a big deal when 187 came. Rush covered it heavily. We all talked about it. We could not believe the outrage. And this is the first time that they did it. They did this second thing. They did this again when California banned, when California with the same-sex marriage thing and said no. And they had a cow. And in fact, the activists were calling black people out in California the N-word because it was discovered that a lot of black people didn't vote for it. But that was on that separate. 187 was where this got started. The voters of California passed Proposition 187. What essentially did 187 say?
Well, it was also called the Save Our State referendum. And what it did was it made illegal aliens, which was in the text of the official summary that voters were given, makes illegal aliens ineligible for public social services, public health care services, and public school education at all. It required local and state agencies to report persons who are suspected illegal aliens to the California Attorney General and what was then ICE. Was INS, Immigration and Naturalization
Services. Yeah.
Yes, and it made it a felony to manufacture, distribute, sell, or use false citizenship or residence documents, and that passed in California, which was even then liberal. 60% to 40%. And as almost the first example of lawfare in the United States, the left lost its mind. And some on the right, unfortunately, lost their minds because the Republican establishment found, cheap labor a positive for business in their minds. And even this was an example of a direct democracy in California, and lawfare went to work immediately. And a year later, a federal judge ruled that Proposition 187 was unconstitutional because it violated the federal government's exclusive power to regulate immigration. And so now that federal government's exclusive power to regulate immigration is being used in the other direction, and it is really boomeranging on Los Angeles right now, the left and the mayor of Los Angeles, who does not like it that the federal government has exclusive power to regulate immigration. And so they're rioting. The DNC has unleashed their stormtroops. You've got the anarchists, the Antifa, the SEIU. You saw that David Huerta, the president of the SEIU of California, was arrested as part of this. And so they're unleashing their violence. But it doesn't matter because this is now going to be used the other direction, and that the federal government has exclusive power to regulate immigration, and they're doing it.
And Karen Bass can talk about what she's not going to stand for all she wants. Yeah, you're going to stand for it, baby. You're going to stand for it. You're going to sit for it. You're going to roll over for it. You're going to lay down for it. You're going to do because you have no choice. She can run her mouth all she wants to. These raids are going to happen. And I just want to see for these people, and if you saw the scenes out there, it was pure riot. And so what is needed in this case, I go back to General Colin Powell, overwhelming force. If you guys want to riot, fine. Then send in enough federal agents to quell the riots and take every one of their asses to jail that gets in the way of trying to intimidate or attack federal agents.
Well, this is not going to be pretty, James, because the left coast's violence has been going on sort of off camera and under the radar for a long time with these same forces. The anarchists and the Antifa people have been dressed in black and black bloc and taking their umbrellas and throwing concrete and doing all kinds of violence without any kind of repercussions for them. Very little, as far as some of them arrested and released right away. And this happened in LA, so it got some attention. But the LAPD did not come to help. If they did not help their track
at all, because they were told to stand down. Finally, at 7 p.m., the LAPD finally told them to disperse after everything was over and they were still milling about. But they did not help.
Exactly.
That's right.
So you're going to have this, I think, this, as I say, it's not going to be pretty. This is going to be unfolding throughout the summer because this is what leftists do. And they've been getting away with it for a long time. And as you say, for this time, Trump isn't playing.
Boom. All right. So, since we have you here, my favorite part with soundbite time, Princess Di. Let's start with Representative Thomas. Oh, no, we did that. Let's start with Representative Madeleine Dean. Cut 23, Carlos. Madeleine Dean was questioning Commerce Secretary Lutnick the other day and on the tariffs. And this is that exchange.
What's the tariff on bananas? Americans, by the way, love bananas. We buy billions of them a year. I love bananas. What's the tariff on bananas?
The tariff on bananas would be representative of the countries that produce them.
And what's that tariff?
Generally 10%.
Correct, 10%. Walmart has already increased the cost of bananas by 8%.
But as countries do deals with us, that will go to zero. As countries do deals with us, that will go to zero.
But the cost is on the American consumer now and on the businesses with the confusion now. Mr. Secretary, I believe you know better. I believe you recognize that a trade deficit is not something to fear. I believe you know that predictability, stability is essential for businesses. I wish you would show that truth to this administration. And I yield back.
Time of the gentlelady is expired.
Do you mind, Mr. Chairman, if I make one quick comment to the end? Would that be okay?
I'm sorry.
Would you mind if I make one quick comment to the representative?
Please.
There's no uncertainty if you build in America and you produce your product in America, there will be no tariff.
We can't
so
produce
the concept
bananas in
of
America.
building in America and paying no tariff is very, very clear.
We cannot build bananas in America.
Princess Di, we can't build bananas in America.
Oh, that is so priceless. I hadn't heard that. But the interesting thing is the left is always saying this, that this is going to cause price increases. It's going to cause, inflation. They've been saying this since 2016, and it has never once happened. And they cannot in any way, for whatever reason, open their minds to actual evidence and actual record and actual history of what tariffs do. And they have been 100% positive so far this administration, and they were last time, but they are so blind because they think that bananas are built, apparently.
You can't build bananas in America. Okay. Anderson Cooper had George Clooney on. Cut 28, Carlos. And this is Anderson and Georgie.
Do you think Trumpism lasts beyond this term?
Don't think so. I think it'd be very hard to do it. Remember this. Donald Trump is a celebrity. That's what he is. I mean, he's got he has a star on Hollywood Boulevard. I don't have a star on Hollywood Boulevard. I'm not lobbying for one. I'm just saying,
It seems like an oversight, by the way.
What's going on? He's a celebrity, and he's the president of the United States, and so he has been elected, duly elected, fair deal. I'm not complaining about that. That's how it works. That's how this democracy works. But he's also a celebrity, and he is charming, and to the people who like him, they think he's funny. To a great many others, they don't. And so when he is finished, and he will be finished, they're going to have to go looking for someone who can deliver the message that he delivered with the same kind of charisma, and they don't have that.
What do you say, Princess?
Well, the Democrats certainly don't have that. So he had to look in his own backyard first. I think there's a germ of truth to it, is that Trump is unique. He is unique in history. We are, blessed to be living at this time when we have his leadership. And the Republicans ought to take heed that we are not following necessarily the Republican leadership. We have been supportive of Trump and MAGA. And MAGA will live on.
Okay, I got one more for you, and then we'll wrap this segment up. It is the governor of California, cut 24, Governor Gasm, the great Gasm, Gavin Newsom, ladies and gentlemen, and he is, I think he was with Dr. Phil, and this is Governor Newsom.
I expressed my point of view. I lost a few. We don't need to have a public therapy session here, but I lost some good friends. They won't talk to me. They're done. And I appreciate they felt hurt. They felt that a point of view was, somehow diminishing. I as someone who's been an advocate that I put up against any other elected official, I have a very strong record. As you know, I think the first time I was on your show was on the issue of LGBT rights. And I've been an advocate for decades and decades, but on the issue of sports and what you just, you laid out as it relates to, many different factors that are unique and, regardless of puberty blockers. I just think this issue we have to address, and to not address, we are in denial.
He can't even spit it out. He's against men playing in girl sports. I mean, goodness. Princess, your take.
Well, did you hear the pretzel he twisted himself
yes!
into? Because, leftists cannot speak English. They cannot speak clearly because their entire political focus is obfuscation and deceit. So that's what you get. You get blah, 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 nonsense, because he dared to say the truth, a few weeks ago, and he got clobbered by his own side. So there you go. This is not going to cause people to follow him at all. So the leadership quotient of Gavin Newsom is 0.
Princess Di, thank you so much. Appreciate you beyond words. And yes, I am for the bill. I thought I had made that clear, but apparently I didn't. I am for the bill. 100% for the bill.
Absolutely wonderful.
Needs to happen. Thank you, Princess Di, as always.
Thank you, Sir James.
James Golden, both know your calls are coming up next. Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. As soon as you hear that opening, you know who they are. Sherman Garn's birthday, heavenly birthday, tomorrow. One of the singers with Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, 1956. This one went to number 1. Mr. Garns passed away in 1977. The music, of course, lives forever. Thank you. Well, as long as there's music. James Golden, Snerdley, coming back with your calls. Don't go away.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's Rod. So many people already think I'm indoctrinating the youth. Well, right now it's June, so you kind of am. Yeah. I'm bringing Blues Clues Pride. I am bringing queer portraits. We're learning about the pride flag. We are reading the books, especially the banned ones. We are learning about queer icons. And on top of all of that, I am teaching how to create a social media post for when they become, those people. But it's the end of the year, and it is important that we continue our learning, continue our understanding, and that is what we are doing here in 5th grade. The biggest things I want them to take away is this quote from Miss Major Griffin Gracie. We're all part of one another. I would want people to understand who we are as human beings. I want us to look at the similarities more than the differences. If only more people could do that. Links to resources are in my bio, so check it out. Ebooks, slides, lessons, whatever you need to talk about pride in your classroom. Yes, and happy Pride from this trans educator. Woo!
What happened to Lowdown? There it is. Boz Scaggs. Ladies and gentlemen, the dirty, dirty, dirty Lowdown. Man, this song really took off back in the day. And Boz Scaggs, I believe, has a birthday tomorrow. It is the anniversary of his birth date. Boz Scaggs, born on June 8th, 1944. Happy birthday to Boz Scaggs. Great artist. All right, it's time. Time is dwindling. Let's do this thing.
James Golden, a.k.a. Bo Snerdley, presents Rapid Phones.
Let's go to Ross. Ross in the Bronx. How are you, Ross? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today, Bo? 2 points quickly. One about immigration. First of all, people coming in without due process, I don't think they should expect it going on the way out. Number one. Number two, I'm married to an immigrant, 40 years. We were separated for almost a year because they did everything legally. And I know maybe some people wait a lot longer. But still in all, I went through the whole thing because I didn't want to look over my shoulder the rest of my life. And I don't understand the Democrats, how they just don't think that any laws apply to them unless the ones that are on there that agree with them. Secondly, you
nailed it.
Norman Johnson. Sorry. You touched on Norman Johnson a few days
You nailed
back,
it. But go ahead.
He had quite a career. He wrote patches for Clarence Carter. And I remember he was on that Invictus label. You remember Holland Dozier and Holland when they left Motown? They started their own label. They had, I think, Frida Payne and Honeycomb. And Norman Johnson also.
And what you call it? The Foundations were on that label too.
That's right. And the what do you call it? He started. Oh gosh, I'm losing my train of thought. The train pulled out. Well, anyway, but I guess they could leave it at that. But the Invictus they had some great artists on that label, and he was part of that. And he started with the Showman. That's
amazing.
Stand. Yeah. I feel a kindred
Well,
spirit.
thanks, Ross. I got to grab some more calls here, but I so appreciate your call. I got to grab a few more in the moments we have left. It is Rapid Phones after all, but thank you so much for your call. Appreciate it deeply. Douglas in Long Island, you are up next. What's on your mind, Douglas? Douglas, going twice. David in Virginia, you are up next. How are you, David?
I'm good. How you doing, Mr. Goldman? Hello?
Good, thank you. Golden. And what's on your mind this morning?
Okay. Hey, I keep hearing about the national debt and how the interest that we pay is higher than the military budget and that kind of thing. Who is it that we owe this money to? Is it just some other country that's
if you buy whoever bought treasury bonds, okay, which is one of the ways that you buy, and treasury bonds have been sold for years. And China, for instance, is a massive purchaser of U.S. debt. You have other nations, but you also have individuals that have purchased the debt too. You can purchase part of the debt. Just go buy some treasury bonds. And you now own a piece of money that's coming back. So, yes, there are nations that we owe money to, tremendous amounts of money, but also to individuals. So, David, great question. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's head out to San Diego. And, Tim, you're up next. How are you, Tim?
How's it going? I'm doing great, Bo. Hey, Bo, you thought Ozzy Osbourne's kid was crass and rude with her comments about cleaning toilets. Now we got this idiot, this white privileged, you should pardon the expression, woman up there in Vermont saying we need people to wipe our asses. Are you kidding me? Can you just imagine Donald Trump saying something like that?
Imagine that. She is a progressive, Tim, and you have every right to be out with a progressive from Vermont. We need illegal immigrants to wipe our asses. Exactly. It is outrageous. And, yes, do we have time for one more? I think it's... Let's grab Terry real quick. Terry, you got to make your point quick. 30 seconds.
Just the big role of the teachers' unions in fighting back Prop 187. in California. They've made millions on illegal alien students, and it's a huge budget item that nobody talks about.
Follow the money. You just did. Thank you. Well, folks, that's it. We got to go. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. Until the next time, I bid you adieu. Thank you for being with us today. Bye.
Thanks for listening to The James Golden Show. You can hear The James Golden Show Saturday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?